This is how money really works. Why prices keep rising, inflation won't slow down, and the Naira keeps crashing. In this video, I just want to break down the basics, explain in layman terms inflation versus deflation, what determines the value of a currency, and how Nigeria can strengthen the Naira. This is for people like me who didn't always care about economics but now want to understand the issues of Nigeria. So back in the day, before money existed, we traded by barter. I give you yam, you give me rice. But that system had flaws. What if I don't want rice? Or what if I felt your rice isn't worth my whole tuber of yam? There needed to be a way to assign value to goods and services without directly trading them, especially when some things are worth more than others. That's why money was created. It became a tool to exchange, to store and measure value. So what is value? Value is anything people need or are willing to pay for. Goods like food, fuel, clothes, or services like transport, healthcare, and tech are value, but are valued differently. Why are some things considered more valuable than others? Let me paint a picture. If everyone in a village farms yam, but only a few people sew clothes, what happens? Yam becomes surplus, hence it becomes cheap. Clothes are scarce, so they're expensive. You might need to give 2 or more yams for one dress. Scarcity increases value. Too much of something makes it cheap. When something is rare but needed, it becomes valuable. Now apply this to money. When there's too much money in circulation but not enough goods and services to spend it on, the value of money drops. People pay more money for the same things. A country's currency gets its value from what it produces, its goods and services. Think of money as a product itself, like the yam in earlier analogy. If it's overproduced without quality or demand behind it, its value drops. So if half the village produces yam and the other half makes clothes, the value of yam is equal 1 yam for 1 cloth. Although in real life there's something called value perception, where even though both products require effort, the tailor might still have to work harder. That's because food is a daily necessity, while clothes aren't bought or exchanged as often. So even if it's a fair trade on paper, the demand for food gives it more power in the real world. We'll talk more on this in another video. Here's a concert analogy to explain it better. Imagine a concert with 100 seats. If you print 100 tickets, it's fine. Everyone who has a ticket gets a seat. But if you print 1,000 tickets for 100 seats, it's chaos. Not enough seats, people fight, resell tickets, and the ticket loses value because it no longer guarantees a seat. So now, 10 tickets equals 1 seat. That's inflation, too much money chasing too few goods. Now flip it, 100 seats but only 50 tickets. Half the hall is empty, the show is dull, vendors lose money. That's deflation. Not enough money moving around. People expect prices to drop, so they save instead of spending. Businesses suffer and the economy slows down. Healthy economies strike a balance. Just enough money to match the value being created. Although, a little inflation is actually good because it encourages spending, it helps businesses grow and hire, it keeps the economy moving. But when inflation gets out of control, especially without matching production, it hurts everyone, shrinks purchasing power and makes the cost of living unbearable. Now let's talk about Nigeria. You might say, but there's not that much money around, so why are prices still rising? Or, but I don't see plenty money, so why are prices still rising? Well, the truth is, there might be a lot of money in circulation, but it's in the hands of a few. Politicians, elites, and big players hoard it, while the majority are left with little to nothing. So even though money exists, it's not flowing. And when production is low and goods are scarce, inflation still hits everyone. However, the main issue Nigeria is currently dealing with is cost-push inflation, which occurs not because people have more money, but because it costs more to produce and transport things. In 2023, the fuel subsidy was removed and fuel prices tripled. Since fuel affects transport, food, and power, the cost of living exploded. Now add an already crashing exchange rate was made worse by the removal of fuel subsidy because it pushed fuel marketers to source dollars from the open market. With no government cover, demand for foreign exchange skyrocketed, putting more pressure on the Naira. Too much Naira demanding for dollars to pay for the fuel. And since Nigeria doesn't earn enough dollars from exports, the imbalance deepened and the Naira weakened even further. Meaning it now takes more Naira to get the same amount of dollars, making exports more expensive. Also, there was still low local production. There was no increase in industries to create more value to give strength to the Naira. Insecurity is another big factor. With the Fulani herdsmen chasing farmers off their land, leads to scarcity of food, and hence an increase in the cost of food. And then there is heavy dependence on import without a balance in exports. The Naira keeps losing value because there's not enough local value backing it. Imagine if, as we are importing fuel, we are also exporting heavily agricultural produce, and the money reinvested in the economy in creating more industries. Let's compare Nigeria's economy to the US. Let's use Apple as a use case. Apple releases a new iPhone every year. It's not just hype, it's billions in global sales. Thousands of jobs are created as a result, taxes paid to the government, and tech exported. That builds the US economy. That gives the dollar strength. Because each year, people all over the world are buying iPhones, which is raising the demand for the dollar. Even if they print more dollars, it's backed by real value, products, services, innovation. But in Nigeria, we are not producing enough. We import too much, we don't manufacture at scale, and we are not building industries that create jobs. So when we print more money or inject cash, the Naira weakens because there's no value holding it up. About fuel subsidy removal, yes, it had to go. But how it was done could have been better handled. The government could have done better by 1. Phasing it out slowly. 2. Providing transport vouchers or cash support. 3. Explaining where the saved money would go. 4. Boosting fuel and food production first. And lastly, regulating key services temporarily. Nigerians can endure hardship, but not without support or clarity. What Nigeria needs now is massive investment in local value creation. Agriculture, manufacturing, tech, energy, jobs. That's how we bring strength back to the Naira, because money without value is just paper. Let's go back to our concert analogy. The 100 seats, that's Nigeria's goods and services. The tickets, that's our money. Now picture this. The number of seats stays the same, but overnight the cost of running the show, fuel, electricity, transport, triples. That's what happened with the fuel subsidy removal and Naira crash. Vendors raise prices to survive. Even if people have tickets, they can't enjoy the show like before. The vibe dies. That's cost push inflation. So what's the fix? Stop printing more tickets. Make it cheaper to run the show. Fix refineries so fuel is affordable. Invest in local food so transport cost drops. Invest in agriculture so the prices of food drops. Build stable electricity so businesses save costs. Support local industries so people can attend the concert comfortably. Because until we reduce the cost of running our economy, more money won't help. Only more production will. Thank you.